guest is one of the top box office attractions in the world today. Every movie is a blockbuster. He's been Conan the Barbarian, Conan the Destroyer, the Terminator, Last Action Hero. But now he's taken on his most difficult role ever. He's gone and got himself pregnant. Will you please welcome Arnold Schwarzenegger? Well, I'm glad you turned up. That's pretty obvious.
I tell you one thing, no stretch marks. It really feels good, I tell you.
Listen, you're a big guy just standing next to you. Suddenly
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. You're a handsome guy.
Oh,
yeah.
Do you want to dance? Were you ever an 8-stone weakling? Did anyone ever kick sand in your face when you were a kid?
No, but snow. You know, I come from Austria.
Oh,
I didn't
cool.
grow up on the beach. But I don't know if I'm sure when I was born I was 8 stone or more. I mean, I'm sure there was a time.
When you were born?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Your mum would have stretch marks.
Plenty.
Well, you spent some time here in London, didn't you, when you were training for Mr. Universe, which you won 7 times.
That's right, yes. I started my whole career actually here in London. In 1966 I came over here for the first time for the Mr. Universe contest, and then then after that I won it several more times, like you say. So my whole beginning and a bodybuilding career was right here in London and all over England, actually.
Well, you did your training here.
Yeah, I did a lot of training here, and I then held a lot of seminars and lectures and so on. I learned a lot also over here. A lot of the old bodybuilding champions came from England, like Reg Park, who was one of my big idols, came from England and was Mr. Universe in 1951, and then became a Hercules in the Hercules movies. So I saw him a lot on the screen, and that really inspired me to get into bodybuilding and then also to get into films.
So when you're in London, by the way, who's Danny and Wag? Who were Danny and Wag in London? Do you remember them?
Wag Bennett?
Yeah.
Yeah, Wag Bennett, yeah, Diane and Wag Bennett.
Were these the people... It was Diane.
Yeah, Diane Bennett,
Were these the people that you were staying with at that time?
That's right,
Where?
Yes. That was in East London, on Romford Road. It was 335 Romford Road.
Oh,
yes.
There's somebody going mad right now. He used to live here.
Yeah, exactly.
Sell the cushions.
Sell the street.
Sell the street. But actually, I got a funny picture there of you in, it would be the 60s?
It was late 60s, that's correct, yes.
Picture of you in flares, going up to Carnaby Street. Were you a fashion-conscious guy then? Because you always dressed smart.
No, I wouldn't say so. I had no clothes, and I walked around in my bathing suit.
That period of that time, I remember 60s well because I had a lot of hit records. I don't suppose you remember anything.
Oh, yes, absolutely. As a matter of fact, not far away, only a few blocks away from the house where I always stayed, there was this record store where they sold records, and I always went up there to buy your records. I like especially your Austrian yodeling.
Oh, it's good.
It was really good.
I can yodel a bit, yes, I can. Frightens those goats, but I do it anyway.
That's right.
Let's take you on from London, from bodybuilding to movies. It's a big jump suddenly to be training for which you were doing bodybuilding to suddenly find yourself in Hollywood. I mean, was it easy convincing them that you were more than just a physique?
It was very difficult because in Hollywood, as you know, no one ever made it big that was from a foreign country, especially not from a non-speaking foreign country. And so when I came over there with this German accent or Austrian accent and with the name Schwarzenegger and with this body, no one knew what to do. So I wanted to get into acting. So they said
Calm down.
They said to me, forget it, you will never make it in this town. You know, with a name like this and the way you talk, and it's all wrong. You know, you would never make it. So that to me was actually very challenging. I said, well, if no one ever has made it, you know, with an accent or with a name like this, then I should definitely be the first, you know.
You never thought about changing that name?
They tried to convince me to change the name.
To what?
To Arnold Strong.
Strong?
Yeah, very creative, as you can tell. Hollywood is very creative. So I said, no, actually, I want to keep my name. I mean, I know the name Gino, Lola, Brigida, and I said to myself, well, that worked. I mean, why shouldn't Schwarzenegger not work? So I kept the name, and I kept the body, and I kept everything, as a matter of fact. And the accent, I worked very hard on it to keep the accent, you know, not to get rid of it, because I felt it was part of my charm. Yeah. And so it worked out really well since then. And now, of course, everything became like a big plus. Now they say, if you wouldn't have had that body, you would have never made it, they say now. You know.
Who dare tell you that?
Well, you know, there's producers and directors and all that. You know, now it's all a big plus. So I'm really happy that it worked, but it took a lot of work, I have to admit, because going from bodybuilding is such a different thing than going into acting.
Did you do acting lessons, did you?
Yeah, a lot of acting lessons and all those things. And I worked as hard at the acting profession as I did with the bodybuilding.
You've done all these action films, suddenly here you are doing a movie where you've got to play a pregnant guy. Now, how does that come about? How does it happen? I mean, it's such a big switch from all the other stuff you do.
Oh, absolutely, and you can imagine what this must be like for my fans out there. You know, they see me in all the movies running around with those guns and wiping everyone out, and all of a sudden I'm dressed in a woman's clothes and with a wig and with beautiful earrings and all those things. So it's quite a switch, and it's a shock for a lot of people, but I think from an acting point of view, it's really a fun thing to do, to make this kind of a switch, because you don't want to always play the same thing. So when I read this script, Junior, I was laughing from the beginning to the end, and I said, I have to do this movie. And it was really a lot of fun playing that role, I tell you.
Alan, I tell you what I found amazing, is that it is such, I mean, you won't mind me saying it's a ludicrous premise, but it sustained my interest throughout all of it, and I kept on wondering what's going to happen. And there was a nice understated comedy throughout. How much research did you do, like, about being pregnant? Did you go to antenatal clinics and things like that?
Well, you're absolutely correct. One of the most important things is when you do a part like this, in order to really sell it and make it real to the public, you have to really bring in all the subtle little things that really make it believable. If my wife wouldn't have gone through 3 pregnancies, you know, we have 3 children, and I really watched her closely go through 3 pregnancies and really saw all the things that happen to a woman when they get pregnant, you know, with the emotional up and downs, and with the, you know, one day they're happy about being pregnant, the next day they're depressed, and my wife stood in front of the mirror and said, I hate my body. And all the little things, you know, that when you say, okay, let's go out, and they say, oh, great, but I have nothing to wear, you know, and all those little things, then tears and joys and all. So and also after my wife, when she was like 7, 8, 9 months pregnant, she started to waddle. You know, so I wanted to make sure I have all those things in there.
You waddle beautifully.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So it was terrific acting out all those things. But the research, sitting in a waiting room of a doctor's office, or being in a hospital and watching what goes on amongst pregnant women, all of those things were very important in order to play the role really well. I mean, and it's very difficult, I tell you. You gain a whole new respect for women when you go through that, of what they go through to be pregnant. It's just wild.
Can I tell you something? I hope you won't mind me interjecting here. I, too, have been pregnant. Now, you're saying what? About 6 years ago, we had a lady came over from America. I hope you won't mind me just showing you this. But you'll see this, about 6 years, came over from her, and she showed me how a lady feels when they're 8, 9 months pregnant. And they patted me up with weights. Just a little bit.
I remember that was very popular.
Look at this.
Here, I dropped my hanky. Could you be a dear and pick up, you know?
Is there a technique to this?
Yes, you have to squat. You can't bend. You might pull muscles this way. So you have to squat.
I don't know which way to go. Rush me.
Oh, you're getting testy
Colin,
again.
get a chorus of any time ready. I do sympathise.
That is funny.
They were heavy weights.
It's unbelievable. I mean, I felt after the 8th month of pregnancy that I'm carrying Danny DeVito around inside the stomach. It was just really uncomfortable. The great thing is that when you play a part like this, is that you, at lunchtime at least, could take the stomach off. Yeah. You know, and then you put it back on and continue working on a film. But a woman cannot take it off. No. You know, it's like 24 hours around the clock. It's really amazing what this is like.
It was fun. It was fun watching you when you were kissing Emma Thompson. There was a scene where you were trying to kiss on the couch.
Exactly.
Your tummy.
And I'm trying to get the stomach out of the way.
Trying to move it out of the way.
Exactly. Yeah.
But,
she was a really an unbelievable Emma Thompson. 2 seconds into the meeting, she says, "Can you lie on the floor?" I said, "What?" She says, "Just lie down on the floor. I have to get to know my actors before I work with them." I said, "Okay." I said, "I've heard of Hollywood, so here we go." And I, of course, laid down on the floor on my back. And she just jumped on top of me and started rolling around. She said she has to do some exploring to get into the character and all this stuff. And there was literally, I mean, I just said hi.
And she jumped on you.
It was just, it was wild. I mean, so.
I can't wait to have her on the show.
Oh, God.
Arnold,
And then it even became funny after that.
Do you think it's because I was told that you didn't know why she did it? And having seen the movie, I saw a preview. I think, you know, the first scene where she comes crashing in and jumped on top of you. Do you think maybe she was kind of, and also breaks down any barriers between two people? If
that's
someone is that brave
No, I
to
mean,
do
that's
it.
why she did it, because she wanted to break the ice. It was a very smart thing to do, and it really felt right away easier after that, you know. And then you right away want to get the kissing out of the way and grabbing each other. All those things, you know, it's really. So it was really great. And there was a funny scene where she was trying to kiss me on the couch.
I love your line.
Couch flips back.
Get off me.
Yeah, exactly.
So what are you going to do now? I mean, here you are doing movies that are family movies, fun movies, with that sense of humour we're talking about, and the action movies which everybody loves. And so what are you going to do? You're going to concentrate one way or the other, or alternate, or what are you going to do?
What I like to do is, especially now since I have created a family myself, I'm concerned about what my children should see and all that. So I think it is good to alternate and to do something for the entire family sometimes, and sometimes something action-packed, which is for the young kids that want to go out there and see something crazy on the screen, yeah.
Well, whatever you're up to, I've got a feeling the audience will be there for you. Thank you very much
Well,
for coming
thank
in
you very
tonight.
much.
Thank you. Arnold Schwarzenegger. My next guest is responsible for creating two of the greatest movie heroes of the last 20 years, Rocky, Rambo. He's been the all-action hero in films like Cliffhanger, Demolition Man, and the latest one, The Specialist. Nobody sleeps while this guy's on. Well, welcome to the studios, Sylvester Stallone. It's right. Let's clear up one point. What do I call you, Sylvester or Sly or Mr. Stallone?
Well, actually, you can call me Tweety. I think
Tweety?
I'm used to that. You know, when you have that name Sylvester, it kind of like brings on that cartoon thing happening. So I'm used to it. So call me Putty Tat. Something that's catchy like that. Really sexy name.
What do your friends call you? That you can tell us.
Loser, stay away. No, actually, they call me, usually women say Sylvester, men say Sly. I don't know
Hi,
why.
Sly.
That was close.
Now, you're filming here at the moment, okay?
Yeah.
And, hey, what does a guy like yourself do in London on your own? I mean,
Really?
what do you do to pass the time away, Sly?
Well, actually, I sit there. I hang out at fish and chip shops, and
You've never been in a fish and chip shop in your life, have you?
actually, I'll tell you what I do. I was looking around to buy. I mean, people think like, oh yeah, he hangs around and does very strange things at nightclubbing, whatever, laying face down in an ashtray all night. No. Actually, I was out looking to buy a merry-go-round.
You winding me up.
I swear to God, I was out looking to buy.
Why would you want a merry?
Because all my life, I wanted a merry-go-round. And I said, you know, I bought a house in Miami, and it's kind of like a lost piece of art. For some reason, I look at a merry-go-round. A carousel. You look at a carousel, and you're in an instant good mood. Now, I don't expect anyone to make any sense of this, but in England, there's some extraordinary old carousels. I mean, world class. And I've been out there looking at night. Instead of stalking nightclubs, I'm stalking carousel makers, okay?
Whatever turns you on,
I'm
Sly.
sorry.
Whatever turns you on.
That brass ring.
It sounds like something from the childhood. Sounds like.
Yeah, it is. No, it really is.
Did you ever go to Coney Island when you were a kid?
Yeah, I did the whole thing. And I thought, okay, now I'm going to do one thing. I mean, one absurd thing. Well, I've done a few absurd things. One more absurd thing and try to do that.
So when you're wandering around London, as you do, I know that, and you just pop into burger joints and restaurants, I'm told you're very easy. Okay. I mean, do you wear a disguise?
No, I really
Do you get hassled?
The British are very reserved. You know, I mean, they're really kind of respectful. They don't tend to be constantly so-called in your face. I mean, they'll give an autograph, hello, how are you, and they let you go your own way. Whereas some countries, it's not like that at all.
Could you do it in New York? Could you wander around in New York? Doubt
Not
it.
so much, no.
Little a Rambo riot. I should
Yeah. Usually in Latin countries, it's rough. Yeah. It seems like I'm related to everybody, you know, somehow.
Let's go back 18 years. I can't believe it's 18 years since you did Rocky.
Yikes.
18 years.
Is it really?
Yeah. If you look at the dates, they add up to 18 years.
You know, it was amazing. I did that film when I was 12 years old. And it's really amazing.
How do you make a film? You're an unknown actor. You write a movie. Apparently in a very short space of time.
Right. About 3.5 days.
How long?
3.5 days.
You wrote the whole thing in 3.5 days?
Yeah. Well, you know what it was? Not that it was letter perfect, but I think if you have an idea, just jump on it right away. And even though it's not perfect, maybe it's 50% there. At least it's down, and then you can start to hone it in. And of course, there might go through 20 drafts before you get it, but that was the initial time. Yeah.
I read that quite a few people were interested, and they were suggesting other people to play Rocky, and you.
Well, I
weren't
don't
gonna
blame
have
them.
that.
Actually, I would have too. It wasn't exactly as though I.
Well, you were unknown, weren't you? More or less.
Please, I was unknown. I was unwanted. It was when it was like, actually, it was a kind of a blessing in disguise. They offered a great deal of money, and I thought that, you know, I never had been rich, and why not just hold out and play some kind of foolish game of poker? And luckily, it worked out. The film was done in 25 days. It was done for $860,000.
Which is nothing.
Oh, God, a ham commercial costs more than that today. And the rest is history. It's like a miracle. So when I meet young actors, I say, what is the secret? I said, please, mine was a complete accident. Yeah, I wish it could happen more often, but I'm really very, very lucky.
Is that right? You were so, English term, so poor that you actually sold your dog?
I did sell my dog at a 7-Eleven. I'm sorry, I had to.
You sold it in a store?
It was either that or eat him. I mean, I was getting close. Oh, yeah.
Well, you were, as we said, we were unknown. You make a movie, written in 3.5 days, and the movie wins an award, Best Picture, I think it was. How do you deal with instant fame of that kind? Did you go bananas?
Yeah, I mean, I abused it. I think I became a little too outspoken. I think I kind of reacted against the image, so-called, of Rocky. It was, I maybe perhaps was protesting the fact that I was so aligned with the character. Everyone thought that was me. And by protesting it and trying to be so overly confrontational, so verbal on every subject, contrary to what Rocky would be, it became to be quite obnoxious. And when I look back in retrospect, it was foolish of me to do that, because even though I am not Rocky, in a sense I am, and I shouldn't have tried to confuse the audience or protest my luck, as it were. So I learned the hard way, and I think that it started out very badly with a relationship with the press, doing that a long time ago.
That's not there anymore, though.
There's some residual fallout, believe me. It's still there.
Let's talk about the new film, Specialist. I saw a preview, and as I said, it's exciting, it's gripping, great performances in it.
Thank you.
Yours truly, and everybody. Sharon Stone.
I play an explosive expert. Her family had been assassinated 15 years earlier by a local gang, mob, whatever, and she hires me to basically avenge that. And then toward the end, it goes against us, and we're trapped in a warehouse where the explosives, and I've been in a few of them, publicly and privately, and I would have to say these things are so monstrous that you can see on Sharon Stone's face and
You'll
mine
see it here in the clip.
the concussion
She was really.
Oh, well, if you had a fireman standing by with a hose, a paramedic, an ambulance, you know what I mean, and an undertaker, it would not inspire confidence.
Sharon genuinely looked scared.
Oh, she was scared. Well, you know, Sharon hadn't been really involved in the wonderful world of death and stunts. So I tried to reassure her that it would be okay, and I'm telling you...
Were you scared?
Oh, unbelievable.
But they're very close, weren't they?
Yeah, because what they use are gas cannons, and it's not like we've done this before, so everything's experimental, and the entire room shook, and the temperature would go up literally from 80 to maybe 130 degrees in a split second when he did the heat blast. So she was terrified, and I have to give her credit that she hung in there, because a lot of people wouldn't. Including myself.
It's very exciting throughout. There was another scene that she was even more frightened to do, I'm told. That's the shower scene
Oh, that's
with
such
you.
a great... I like that scene.
There's a very shower scene.
Well...
she was scared, or she... What happened?
She was, you know, I thought
See, we don't think of Sharon Stone being scared, do we?
Believe me, I tell you. Well, what happened is I figured, okay, from basic instinct, and she had, you know, been kind of like nude in films before, so she was a veteran at this, and basically I hadn't done this yet. And, I mean, Rocky, after 5 films with Adrian, I mean, even though we had a child, it's like we never took our clothes off. You know, we had it through children, through the clothing, through everything. It was like an immaculate conception. There was no sex whatsoever. So I said, okay, fine, I have to do this adult scene, and I get ready, and I'm working out constantly. I said, I want to make a good appearance, and I'm in shape. And she's eating donuts and cake and cheesecake, and I'm warning her. I said, Sharon, seriously, you better get ready, because, look, I think I'm part of the new woman, the voluptuous woman, the round woman. I said, yes, okay, fine. You want to be the Michelin woman? You can be the Michelin woman. So anyway, one day before we're ready to film it, she goes out and buys a piece of equipment called the butt blaster. And she does like 1, 2, okay, I'm in shape, I'm ready. I said, beautiful. All right, so we get up there, and it's starting to become like a heavyweight fight. So I drop my robe, and I'm ready to go. And she goes, I'm not doing it. I said, I'm not standing next to him. I'm sorry. I said, well, excuse me. What do you want to do, to stand it? I mean, we have to do this. She says, no, not going to do it. So after about 10 minutes of trying to cajole her using therapy, I called upon...
Therapy.
Therapy, yes. Yeah. I called upon something that a little bit more medicinal. We called on Dr. Vodka.
Vodka?
Dr. Vodka came by, and after about 2 glasses, we couldn't keep her clothes on. We were in the shower doing the backstroke. It was like, synchronized swimming. It was like,
thank you, Sylvester Stallone. Thank you very much for coming in. One of the hottest properties in Hollywood. Hit records, blockbuster movies like Men in Black, Independence Day, Enemy of the State, and a new wonderful movie, Wild Wild West. Will you welcome Will Smith? Well, that lot gone, man. That's some. Now that's something you do, I'm told, when you go into the studio sometimes. Not when the show's on. You just go in and scream.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
What does that do?
It makes you feel good. Try it. Just one good time.
Ah!
Yeah, you feel
I
good.
think I heard something. Hang on. Now we get to the movie Wild Wild West. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yep.
Now I'm not going to run through the whole life and times of, but
No, really, let's.
you signed a
You have a lot of pillows. Did you know?
well, you could dump some. You know, throw a few out there, Will. Get rid of some ballast.
Yeah, there's lots of pillows.
Right, now, you will stay behind and ride along. Now, you signed a record deal when you were just a kid, though, didn't you?
Yeah, I was 16 years old. I signed my first record deal. It wasn't a good one. It wasn't a good one.
That there was some shady character?
Oh, yeah, he was
with a gun. Get you to sign?
He wasn't saying that he was going to shoot us. No. You know, he wasn't saying that. He just had the meeting with the gun there. You know, let me just sit this here just in case, But go on, sign your name.
So you thought, well, maybe we will.
Maybe I should just go ahead and sign my name. It was a little shady, but it worked out well. We signed to a record company out in New York. They heard our first record, Girls Ain't Nothing But Trouble. And you notice how all the titles like Girls Ain't Nothing But Trouble, Parents Just Don't Understand. So you know that?
Little rebel there
Yeah,
already.
just a little, because I'm a rebel, man. I got to fight back.
Hey, well, you came to London, though, didn't you, to make an album?
We recorded our first album in London, absolutely. You have a lot of information.
Well, I've been learning about you, see.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Are you trying to start a rap career?
Well, I might, What?
You seem like you'd be like a hardcore gangster rapper, though.
So when you came over that time in your career, because that wasn't Will Smith big star, that was Will Smith wannabe.
Yeah,
did
right.
you stay in some poky little hotel? It wasn't Claridge's, I thought.
No, it was a nice hotel when we first came. We stayed in the Holiday Inn Swiss Cottage, and then we stayed there.
They're calling the Holiday Out now since you left. But let me get to the situation that's going on right now. I mean, everything is just flying. You've got a record in the charts at Wild Wild West. Yeah. You've got this album which has done fairly well in America. Right? The premiere of the movie is today.
Are you coming, or are you just?
I'm going to go and see the movie.
See, there was too many. You should come
I
to
gotta
the
be
premiere.
here.
Oh, that's true. You got to be working.
Here.
Yeah.
What do you play? What do you play in Wild Wild West? What do you?
I play James West, and I'm a secret government agent who was hired by the president to stop a madman, Kenneth Branagh, from taking over the United States government and then eventually the world with this weapon of mass destruction. He has a mechanical tarantula.
It's wild. It's like
really
James Bond, only in the Wild West.
Right, absolutely. It's like that. That's a really good description. It's like a James Bond, like a black James Bond in the West.
Yeah. that's real Will Smith. It's different. Look, let's have a look at this clip. I think in this clip.
You just spit. Did you see it?
Yeah, I did.
I mean, because you look like you were just going to ignore it.
I was going to sign it for you and send it to your room. But this film...
Did you guys see? You saw it, right? You saw it. It flew out.
You see what
it was like, he's sitting, he's talking...
Spit on... See what effect you have, Will. People just froth at the mouth. The thought of you. Right, let's go. Kevin Kline's in this movie.
Kevin Kline.
And he's in this scene here with you.
Okay, you have a clip.
We're going to have a quick look. He's the other guy. He's the one who's got the weird inventions, and you're the more hard-talking, straight-to, let's go get him guy.
Yeah, our relationship in the film is I'm like a man of action. James West is a man of action who often acts so quickly he doesn't have time to think, whereas Kevin Kline plays Artemis Gordon, who is a thinking man, who often thinks so much that he forgets to act on his brilliant thoughts.
And on this, he's been masquerading as a woman, right, to try and track this guy down, and you're telling him it was rubbish.
Yes, absolutely.
Let's have a look at this.
Let me tell you something about your beloved art of disguise, Gordon. That night at Fat Cans, it wasn't a difficult task to see that you weren't a woman. I was propositioned by 3 men. You looked nasty, just butt ugly. I mean, your breasts were hard and stiff and sticking out like a couple of rusty cannons on a sunken ship. These breasts are a work of art, aesthetically and scientifically perfect. Touch my breast. Just one. Touch one. You happy, Gordon? I'm touching your breast.
I knew it.
Wait. Squeeze it gently. Not that hard. Now you've shifted all the buckwheat around. Buckwheat? That's your problem. What are you doing? Now touch my breast. Ooh, huh? Now that's what a breast is supposed to feel like. Very nice.
I wouldn't want people to get the idea this is not a family film. This is a fun film with a very funny moment in it. But family, for you, it's very important. I noticed, I mean, right from the sitcoms and the work that you do, you've very much got the family in mind, haven't you? You're out there to entertain a whole family. I mean, there's hordes of young kids hovering around this building today. I don't know whether you know that. And I think a lot of that comes back from your upbringing and your discipline from your mum and your dad. They were good when they were saying,
Absolutely. I mean, to me, it's always been really important to me to have family and to try to create work. Like with my records, I try to create records that parents can put it on in the car with their children and they can let it play all the way through and not have to worry about...
Or cough here and there.
Oh, yeah, you know, try to cough them. You know, okay, no, oh, that was nothing, sweetie, that was nothing. You know, but to have work and to have things that the family can enjoy and, you know, just that's fun. And this film is really directed at children, and there's big explosions and great mechanical gadgets and all of that, and it's fun.
The reason I'm talking about the family aspect was that I know your dad was always, because your dad kept you away from all of the dangerous things around drugs and things like that.
When
right?
I was growing up, I thought my father was like insane. My father was in the military, so you know we had to put hospital corners on the bed, and we had to roll our socks up and all of that. And, you know, Dad, I'll be home at 0700. You know, so so he was a very military, very strong. So like I never messed with drugs or anything like that because I thought he would literally kill me. You know, not like you saying, oh man, I'm gonna kill you. No, like for real. I thought he would kill me for real. And what happened was peer pressure wasn't important to me. It's like when a friend said, oh man, you soft, you not smoking this marijuana, you soft. Like, hey, I will be soft, but I will be alive and soft. So you can go on about your business with it.
Now you've got a son of your own, haven't you?
I have two sons.
Two sons?
Absolutely,
Yeah,
a 6-year-old and a 1-year-old. Yeah. Oh man, you better watch me. I'll make them quick.
So, are you passing on? Well, they're a bit early to give them that kind of information, but you're going to keep an eye on them and keep firm discipline on them?
Oh, absolutely. You know, what I do...
You're not going to have to put corners on the beds or anything like that?
No, I'm not going to take it that far. But the thing is, like, you just act crazy. That's what I do with my kids. Like, you just act like you're crazy. Because that's all that you really have. See, my father actually really was crazy when we were growing up. So now I'll just, every once in a while, and it's great, I'm an actor, so when my son does something wrong, I go, what are you doing? Why are you doing that?
You scared me then.
See, it worked, right? Now you're going to behave yourself for the rest of the interview, all right?
Hey, Will, is that right that you played golf with President Clinton?
Yeah, I played golf with Clinton. I played golf with Tiger Woods. I played golf with Jesper Parnevik the other day. You know, so that's my thing.
You probably do better against Clinton than you did against...
Yeah, there's the other guys, yeah. You know.
All right, now you could be president, you said. You said, you quote, if I complete it, if I made up my mind, would be president, Will, in 15 years.
See, I'm glad you asked me that question, actually. You know, I feel that I possess the talent and the wherewithal that it takes to hold a public office. See, now, I'm going to give you a quick lesson, okay? Yeah. Now, pretend this is your audience, you know, your constituents, okay? Now, I want you to tell them that I will be president of the United States. Like, say it to them, but you have to point at the audience and tell them definitively, I will be the president of the United States. Like, try it.
Is this me telling them Des is going to be president? I'm telling them...
No, that Des is going to be. Okay.
If you vote for me, all the things you wanted, all the things you believe in, will happen.
Boo!
No.
I want the other guy. I don't know who it is, but I want to vote for the other guy. Come on, you got to be strong with it. You got to be strong. See, and the thing is, most people, when they point with their finger. That's a no-no. When you're president, you got to point with your thumb. I absolutely will be the president of the United States. See, it's strong. You see the fist? The fist is strong. You see that? Be the president.
Good fist.
And you do that on the words. I will absolutely be the president of the United States. Right, you see? Right there.
So are you going to run for president?
I'm figuring, you know, I'm going to take 10 years. Oh, my God, there's a fly. You see the fly? Oh, jeez. Oh, man. I come all the way over here to see you, and you've got bugs? No.
Are there going to be any sequels to Independence Day, Man in Black?
You know, people have been asking about. I think that probably the most sequelizable film.
That's a good word.
It just hurts saying it actually. Like Men in Black seems like the film that is most likely to be sequelizable. But you know, I don't like sequels because it's hard to make them better, you know, than the original film. Like
usually
The Godfather.
squeezing a drop more.
Yeah, you're squeezing. You know, we made some money. Let's get some more.
Muhammad Ali. Now here's Now you're gonna
have so much information.
You're gonna play Muhammad Ali, the life story. But all right, I'm sure you got all the talent, but you still got. I mean, what are you?
Hey, now, don't get me started now. Don't get me started. I'll show you. That was good. You just hurt yourself.
I just hurt my shoulder. What I want to know is you see the weight. How much do you weigh? What do you weigh at the moment?
Right now I'm probably right around 203, 204
but he was
pounds.
240.
He was 185 when he was younger. I would probably go down as
That's
Cassius Clay to play him around 18, 19 years old, and then go up to maybe 220, 218.
And you got to. I mean, all right, we were clowning around, but you've got to know how to punch and how to. And you've got to take lessons and training, or have you done a bit of that over the years?
I'll knock you out right now.
Oh, sure you will. And you say, Mr. Smith, it's all right by me. Will you float like a butterfly? Will you sting
like a bee? Absolutely. You know, the thing is, his life is so amazing, and I think that the younger children aren't aware of the things that he did in his life. He has a life and tests in his life of biblical proportions. Yeah. Amazing. It almost feels like you couldn't write it better than the way that it was lived.
Did you meet Muhammad Ali?
Yes, I met with Muhammad Ali probably about 6 months ago.
Did he have approval over the guy that's going to play him? I assume they would have asked him.
No, that was the thing. I went to him to see if he was behind the story, and he was really into it. And I sat down with him, and he looked at me. He said, "You almost pretty enough to play me." So that's the approval from the champ.
Well, I wish you had success with that. You do say, I've heard you say that, yeah, I'm quite happy the way I look, but I'm not too keen on my ears. I got sticky out ears.
My ears, see, the wonderful thing about ears is that people love them. People love, my ears stick out a little bit, you know, it's not
taxis with the doors open.
It's like a 1964 taxi cab with both doors sticking open. One of my friends said I look like a trophy. You know, But the thing about my ears is they're like a wonderful, wonderful aphrodisiac. Like,
really?
Yeah, my ears really, really turn women on.
Really?
You know, feel it.
Can I touch them?
See, now hold on. See, because then you're going to be calling me, you know, all the time. I'm going to get messages, Will, this is Des, you didn't call me last night. But go on, I'll give you a single, you know. Go on, see?
Ding,
Woo,
ding.
Yeah.
No, you've seen this lovely guy, isn't he lovely? Where's Smith? Number one man. Where's Smith? Here's one guy who went on to become a major star in the movies. Just take a little look at this on our show.
I was an escapist, I think. I was much happier sitting at home watching television. I loved the old movies when I was a kid. I run a lot of gangster movies and westerns.
I think we all get affected by it.
Yeah, there was an Audie Murphy movie here just yesterday. You know, there was this old western movie, you know, and I used to identify with those guys. I liked those guys. I liked the cowboys, you know, but I wore glasses as a kid, and I couldn't really identify with the cowboys so much, you know, because you never saw cowboys riding horses going. They never get into a bar fight and go, hold these.
Yes, it's Batman himself, Michael Keaton!
You look great. You know, I was looking at you. That's a smart suit. Who makes that? Kevin Kline?
No.
Inside.
Listen, the Batman movies.
Right.
Now, you did not one, but two very successful and must have put you in the real big money bracket. Sorry to talk money, but right up there with all the biggies.
You're looking for a loan, aren't you? You want
not
some?
really. Well, if you just happen to have a few bucks lying around. No, I mean, if you'd have told me the time you were going to turn it down, then you could have rang me, and I don't know how I'd have fitted into that outfit. But why? I mean, why would you? I don't think your bank manager wouldn't have been too thrilled. Suddenly you're turning down the sequel, another big one. Why?
Right. I didn't think it was very good. I mean,
Had you read a script? Had you?
Yeah, I'd read a script.
You went that far?
Yeah, I read the script and I thought, well, it started with this. I wasn't really interested in doing a third, and then I started to think about it, and I thought, well, I think this could be a lot of fun, and I was getting more and more enthused, and then they sent me the script, and I said, I don't think this is really very good. And we had a meeting, and they sent me another script, and I said, you know, I'd like to be a little more involved. You know, I've done two, and it wasn't feeling real good anyway. And finally it got to the point where it just was going to go in one direction, and I thought it should have gone in another, and I just chose not to do it anymore.
Well, I suppose you didn't have to wear that suit again. Or is that, is that,
well, I got it at home. If you're ever in the States, swing by.
You have not got it.
I've got two of them.
Two of them?
Yeah.
We could play games.
Yeah, we could.
I want to be Batman. You could be Robin. How about that? I mean, that suit. It looks as though. I mean, it looks very smooth and muscular. Is it uncomfortable in there?
The first one was extraordinarily uncomfortable. Yeah, yeah, really
Sweaty,
heavy
hotty.
and sweaty and hot, and I'm a little claustrophobic anyway. Yeah. Second one was not much better.
So I wouldn't have thought you had to put makeup on, though. That's one thing you'd have to do. Just the eyes.
Yeah, right here. That's it. Yeah, that's a great part of it. Yeah. Second one was, you know, not quite as uncomfortable, and the third one had nipples. So I think I got out just in time. You know what I'm saying, Des?
Yeah, it's going off in a different direction. Was it,
Yeah. That's a nice way of saying we're going in another direction.
Now, you've got this new movie on the go now, which is Desperate Measures.
Right.
And what are you playing that?
I play a sociopathic, psychopathic killer. That's a big leap. I keep killing people. I'm a bad man, Des. I'm a bad man.
So what happened there? You threw something
My
on
hair was actually longer before that explosion. It just kind of singed the whole thing.
You threw a cigarette there for
Right.
Yeah. So smoking is dangerous.
Yes, it is.
when
Yes,
you're
it is.
around.
That takes place in a hospital. What happens is I'm asked by Andy Garcia, not by him, but by the character he plays, to comply with giving his son a bone marrow transplant. And his son will die if he doesn't get it, asks if I will do it, and I say under certain circumstances if I get some of my privileges back, because I'm in a maximum security cell. Serving a life term, and he gets them for me. I say, okay, we'll do it. And then when we get to the hospital, I escape, and that was the scene, one of the scenes after I escape, where he's trying to keep me alive, stop me, catch me, and keep me alive so that he can have the transplant done for his son before his son dies. It's a great idea for a movie, and it's actually a quite fun movie.
Well, are you happier doing the heavier stuff?
I enjoy it. I mean, I'm not necessarily happier doing that than.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Well, are you more liable to pick up an Oscar for a heavy dramatic role than a comedy role? Yes. I haven't seen a real strong comedy supporting actor yet, but
right, always. I mean, it's very rare that you'll see a guy win I don't know if ever there's been an actor who's won an Oscar for just a straight-ahead comedy, because I don't think it's really appreciated how difficult it is to do it really well. The guys and the women and men who do it really, really well are rare and also more skilled than most people realize, I think.
What I wanted to ask you, London, I mean, it's been, what, 20 years? Do you realise that since you were
Really?
Yeah. I mean, have you been back since?
Well, you know, we shot Batman here.
Did you? I didn't know.
Yeah, out at Pinewood
That's
Studios.
near where I live.
Really?
I could have popped in
You
and
could have stopped
tried
over.
the suits on, like you said. Yeah,
Gee
it would have
whiz,
been
good thing you didn't.
Well, I don't want you to leave it 20 years
No,
till
I'd love to come
next
back.
time. And good luck with the movie, and lovely to see you. Michael
you, sir.
Keaton.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael. My next guest is one of the top box office stars in the world today. Movies like Mad Max, Lethal Weapon, Hamlet, and now his new film, Man Without a Face. Need I say more? It's Mel Gibson.
What's in your
Yeah, that's a little bit of. Yeah. Well, do you want to sip it? I mean, those days are gone, haven't they, Mel?
Oh yeah.
That's water, good old-fashioned English agate. Let me ask you something. What do you look like first thing in the morning?
Like this, but a bit more swollen.
Well, you do scrub up well, you really do.
I try. I, you know, brush my teeth and, you know, or comb my teeth and, you know, brush my hair or something.
I get the feeling that you don't take yourself too seriously.
I try not to. That's a big mistake.
So what do you do when you read something in the paper? Sexiest man in the world. I mean, what do you think? I know what she thinks. What do you think?
She obviously believes that stuff. Well, what can you think? I mean, what would you think if somebody put that in the paper about you?
I'd say, yeah. But then I lie a lot. What does your wife think about it?
She thinks it's, she takes it, she laughs. Sorry.
I nipped out just before we did this interview with you into the crowd, and I guess you get asked the same questions time and time again. And there's a couple of people in here. Be careful of Chrissy.
Okay, which one is that?
Just be careful.
Oh, I see.
That's Cuddly Chrissy over there. And I think you need a running start. She said she'd catch you.
I might let her.
Now, there's another guy called Damien who's... Damien is worried about you and goldfish. He wants to know...
Well, he's not going to catch me.
No. I think he'd be comfortable with the goldfish, actually. Do you have a goldfish, was the question he wanted to know.
Yes, he was delicious.
Let's talk about the new movie. All right? It's called Man Without a Face. What's it about? I mean, I've got an idea, but just fill us in.
It's a story about a man who's disfigured he was disfigured in an accident and have his face is kind of burnt off. And it's kind of a light film, but it's sad and funny. It's a story about, I suppose if you could sum it up in one word, it's about tolerance.
In that, it's got a lot of sensitivity about it. I mean, I guess you must take some of the credit as a director, but it's natural there with that kid, isn't it?
He is exceptional. I looked at hundreds of young lads when I was casting the thing, and he just stood out. He is unusually gifted for someone so young. He has a good grasp of life and understanding of acting.
Yeah, it seemed to be something that he wasn't really working. Something that's coming natural. Yeah. How are the fans going to react to this? Is not dare I say, pretty boy. This is not the handsome hunk anymore. I mean, we didn't see the full disfigurement there because you're in the shadows. How are they going to react, the fans? Do you think they're going to say, yeah, good, this is Mel going for something else? Or?
Well, I don't know. I think about 2/3 of the way through the film, the boy has a line, and he says, you know, I don't even see your scars anymore. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do with the film, is so that the audience, when they get to that point, they don't notice anymore. They're looking at the person underneath. So
that can happen, fun enough, in a different way on stage. I remember going to see Sammy Davis, who... one of the great talents of the world, wasn't he wouldn't say I didn't look like Errol Flynn, but at the end of an hour and a half of Sammy, suddenly he was 6 foot tall and he was just a good-looking guy. Yeah. Now then, I always thought you were Australian. I thought you were an Aussie, mate.
So did I.
Jesus. The hell, mate? You were born in or around New York, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
So what age took you out to?
I was 12, and I went over, emigrated with the rest of my family.
It was a big family, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was a mob of us. There was like 12 of us. So.
Well, was that Mum and Dad 10 kids?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And we just settled in Sydney and learned to play rugby and cricket and all that stuff.
Was this a working class family? I mean, it wasn't a wealthy background. You're not from that.
Not at all. No.
So what was it like trying to get in at 12? You were trying to get in the bathroom in the morning. It's a bit of a problem, I see, mate.
It was tricky. Luckily, we had two. But yeah, there were schedules, but one gets used to living with a lot of people. Someone asked me, boy, what was that like? And well, the answer is I simply didn't know anything else, so it didn't seem unusual. Yeah, you don't have to adjust. It's just there.
You got a large family yourself?
Yeah, I got 6. Yeah, 6.
That was another question for the crowd. Are there going to be any more? And you have 6 children, so.
Yeah.
And boys, girls, I think?
One daughter. She's the oldest, and then
Five boys?
5 sons, yeah. I got a basketball team. But
Could end up with a football team if you don't care. Will you all be together at Christmas?
oh, yes.
Where would that be, America or Australia?
Somewhere over on the North American continent. I'm not sure yet. I might travel up north to the snow or something.
What about Australia? I mean, that's an ideal place, as far as I'm concerned, to be there for a summer because the weather's brilliant.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you've got a ranch there, haven't you?
Yes, I do, yeah. I raise cattle. Somebody asked me before, will you lasso them? I said, well, no, you don't.
Could you do it? Could you lasso, or what do you call it?
I don't think I can. I've never tried it, and I don't have any reason to do it.
Well, someone's got to look out for your cattle out there. Who's doing it? You got real cowboys out there?
Oh, well, I do it, but I don't use a lasso. I've done it, you do it for motorcycles and you lead them.
Motorcycles? You could start a stampede with one of those things, couldn't you?
You could, but these cattle are used to it. You know, you introduce them, you show them a film when they come to the place. You know? This is a motorcycle, this is what it's saying to you.
Right, before you were married, you had a reputation as, well, we call it Jack the Lad. Bit of
Jack the Lad.
Yeah, is that,
oh, I've heard that, yeah.
That rings a bell, is it? I mean, did you turn up at a Mad Max audition unshaven with a black eye from a wild night the night before?
Yeah, it was worse than that.
We want to hear it over, yeah, tell me.
You want to hear? Well, I probably said something to the wrong people. It resulted in I was at a party where I knew a couple of people, but not all of them. It was like a rugby party.
Did you go into a fight?
With the team, yeah. And I came out the worst for it, but I survived. I actually got the part because I looked so hideous.
Well, that's right. They said that was kind of what we were looking for, someone who's fearless and whatever.
Fearless? Ooh. Someone that's stupid, you mean?
Do you ever look back at those days and think, was that me doing that? Was that somebody else? Did I behave like that?
Well, you do. And you think to yourself, what a waste of time. Especially now, you know, you think, what was I doing? I could have been doing something else then. But everyone does that. I mean, the past usually includes a great deal of regret. That's what the film's about, funnily enough.
It's a long way from Lethal Weapon to Hamlet.
Yeah.
Right? What is it, Mel, about Hamlet that actors run? Is it snobbery? Is it Shakespeare? Is it a challenge?
It's, what's the word? What is it?
Masochistic?
Masochism. Yeah. I think there's a tinge of masochism there, because it's really kind of an unsolvable puzzle. You can only catch pieces of it at a time. It's so complex that I just took the easy way out in the end. But
a lot of people, though, went to see that wouldn't normally go to see Shakespeare. Was that in the back of your head that you might... I mean, you're not trying to change the world, I understand that, but did you think, well, they might see Mel in a different light? I mean, because I guess like a lot of beautiful actresses, Bo Derek was always complaining and saying that no one ever takes her seriously. I mean, you know you're a good-looking guy. Did you think, I'm deeper than this, I can act?
Well, I got trained and everything, and I figured I had a couple of tricks up my sleeve. And if you don't...
You surprise a lot of people.
If you don't stick around very long, I think, and as your testament, you see. But...
Sounds like rain. It sounds like rain, doesn't it? What's next, then?
I was just about to say something terribly crude, but I changed my mind.
What's next for you? I mean, I hear rumours that you're going to do something for Spielberg, and I don't know whether I should ask you this, but on television...
I was going to clean his garage out for him.
Well, when you finish cleaning his garage out, someone said you're going to do a movie and you're going to put on a frock. Is there any...
Put on a frock?
Yeah, well, that's that. On television just last week, one of our eminent critics said that the rumour was you were going to do a movie and wear a frock in this movie. I can't imagine you doing that.
Gee, I may put on a frock, but I'm certainly not doing it on television. No, boy, you hear the strangest things. That's the first I've heard that.
They do say so. And this was on television. This wasn't in the newspapers. I'd like to see you in some kind of light romantic comedy on like a little carriage drop.
Yes, I find you irresistible. Yeah.
Would you do some of that stuff, comedy? I think that's
Sure.
in you. It's obvious you're making people laugh here, and it's a natural feel for you.
Well, that's what Maverick is. It's a Western, and there's a rash of them. It's like measles this year with Westerns coming out. But it's actually different to the others because I think it doesn't take itself serious like a spoof on a Western, which is... so that's kind of a romantic comedy, I suppose.
Well, thanks for coming. Every success with Man Without a Face and whatever you do, this lot will be waiting, I'm sure. Mel Gibson, ladies and gentlemen. Give him a smile. Be right back. Don't go away. We've had some big stars on this show over the years, none bigger than this fella. Would you please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, the idol of millions of Hulkamaniacs around the world, the incredible Hulk himself, Hulk Hogan. Pleased to see you, but I mean, looking at you, really are a big lad.
Well, not as big as that guy I just body slammed.
He was big, was he?
Yeah, in America, I'm 6'7", the same as here, but that's how we measure ourselves there. 6'7", and Andre the Giant is 7'4".
7'4"?
Yeah, he's a real giant, and he weighs almost 600 pounds.
A biggie.
So that was WrestleMania 3. That was a few years ago, and that was in the Pontiac Silverdome in Detroit, Michigan. A week before, they had the Rolling Stones there, and they had 80,000 people, and then I wrestled Andre in the same building, and we had 93,000 people.
93,000?
It's still the world's indoor attendance record.
I can imagine that being beaten by one other thought. Maybe you fighting Mike Tyson. Could that ever be a possibility, Hulk?
Well,
what would you do if someone offered that to you?
I've been trying to get that juvenile delinquent in the ring with me for quite some time. But you see, I don't know how many people here saw Rocky III, one of Sylvester.
Well, you're in that, weren't you?
Yes. And one of the reasons I was in the movie was Mr. Stallone wanted to show the world what would happen if a boxer got in the ring with a wrestler. And so I would love to get my hands on Mike Tyson.
What would you do? Would you just lean on him? He couldn't do much of it. I mean, you're much heavier.
Well, he's done a lot of crazy things lately. The first thing I'd do is discipline him. I'd like to get him over my knee first.
Give him a smack.
Yeah. But, but we've approached him on several occasions, and even flew over to Tokyo to try to get him to sign a contract to referee a match. But after we got him to sign the contract, a week later, Buster Douglas beat him for the championship. So we had Buster Douglas as the special referee.
But let me talk about you for a second, because you are an enormous guy. And were you a big baby?
Well, yes, I was. I was 11 pounds when I was born.
11 pounds. I bet the doctor didn't smack your bum when you... Well, let me ask you about an average day's eating. You know, what would you eat in one day? What would be breakfast, lunch, maybe dinner?
I'm trying to stay away from the fatty foods because the camera loves detail, and I'm trying to work on my film career now. And today I had 18 egg whites. 18? Yeah, with a few onions and mushrooms chopped in, and whole wheat toast, and I bring cans of protein with me everywhere. And I try not to eat too late at night because it's kind of hard to burn that food off, but I do eat quite a bit.
Steak, stuff like that?
Sometimes, but the red meat will slow you down. When you get a little older, you'll find out.
Oh, I'm waiting.
Yes.
Eventually.
Yeah. If you know the fish and the meat and the chicken, those are all good sources of protein, but basically the meat is something that slows your metabolism down, so I try to stay away from that.
I was watching WrestleMania in America recently. I mean, the wrestling here, it went off the boil for a while. It's coming back now. I think spinning off of Sky Television satellite, running the WrestleMania. I was amazed at the fervor from the fans who are yelling, little prim old ladies yelling out things like, tear his leg off! And are really getting involved up there. Does any of that anger ever spill over into the ring? I mean, it's obviously going to be very dangerous if you guys get really cross with each other.
Well, once in a while things happen in there where the gentlemen in the ring get upset with each other. But what we've done, the reason wrestling is so big is that we've taken wrestling to another level, and we call it sports entertainment now. And once I got into a position with a little bit of power, I was very serious with the promoters when I said I wanted to take it to another level because I started the entertainment. I started playing music on the way to the ring, and then when I'd body slam you, I'd look to the crowd for approval, and usually the approval got more of a roar than the wrestling move. And so...
You became the goodie. You brought into wrestling the goodie and the baddie, didn't you? It wasn't just two guys...
No, that was always there. But before we had the type of wrestling fan that wanted to see blood and wanted to see people get hurt. And so what I wanted to do was I was tired of insulting people's intelligence. And I told them that wrestling is more than just a sport. These are good athletes, but they're also good entertainers and good actors. That's why we call it sports entertainment now. So the people that wanted to see the wrestlers get hurt and wanted to see blood, they're gone now, and now we have families, we have children.
the kids are there.
The arenas are sold out, and they know that when they buy a ticket, they're not going to see Mike Tyson knock somebody out in 2 seconds and rob them of their money. They buy a ticket to see wrestling, sports entertainment, and they get 3 hours of entertainment and fun.
Well, from entertainment, and dare I say, some kind of acting, it must require
Oh, of course,
you know,
yes.
you've made the natural progression into acting, and it's now Hulk, the actor. And you have this marvelous new movie out, which I thought is wonderful. I thoroughly recommend this. Genuinely great family entertainment, a movie called Suburban Commander. And Hulk, good luck with the movie.
Thank you very
Suburban
much.
Commander.
Commando.
Go see it, it's wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, Hulk Hogan. My next guest is a Hollywood actor who started over 30 years ago with Walt Disney. He always turns in a competent performance. He starred in dozens of movies, the latest of which is about to be released here in England. It's called Tombstone. Will you welcome, please, Kurt Russell? I said that it was over 30 years ago you started. I mean, you don't look old enough to have been acting. How long? 33?
Yeah, 33 years.
You don't look old enough to have been acting for 33 years.
You need glasses, Dad.
No, even at this. Well, let's put it this way: you must have been a very young kid when you first walked onto the set for Disney.
I started a few years before I went there. I was 9 years old when I started, and I think I was 12 or 13 when I went to Disney for the first time.
What were the first movies you did?
First movie I ever did was with Elvis Presley. It was called It Happened at the World's Fair, and in 1962.
And you met Presley?
I kicked him in the shins. Yeah.
What?
He gave me a quarter to kick him in the shins. He wanted to go see the nurse. I forget who the woman was that he wanted to be with, but.
What do you mean? He was sending you a catalyst to sort out a date?
Yeah, exactly. So I was being used, you know. So I took a quarter and kicked him in the shins, and I spent a week in Seattle at the World's Fair, and I got to work with Elvis Presley.
Let's talk about this new movie. This new movie, Tombstone, where you play Wyatt Earp, right? Are we going to learn something new about Wyatt Earp?
It's been interesting. It's opened in America, and I'm just found out today that they want to do an article on Tombstone being the surprise hit of the year. It's a picture that many had hoped would sort of disappear because there was many of these projects around, a lot of different westerns being considered to be done. The ones that would, of course, drop away would make it easier for the ones that were going to be done. The interesting thing about this movie is that never before there's been many movies done on Tombstone, Wyatt Earp, Doc Holliday. Never before, for some reason or other, did they ever choose to do Wyatt Earp just as who he was and Doc Holliday just as who he was.
There's a descendant from Wyatt Earp in the movie, isn't there?
I had great help in being able to play Wyatt Earp. When I played Elvis Presley, I had a lot to research. I had a lot of material to pull from. But the greatest thing was being able to see things for myself and hear him. But of all things, I think I used my memory probably the most. I remember him. With Wyatt Earp, I wanted to play him as he was. I wanted to do the same thing. I wanted to capture the essence of the man. I could do everything but hear him. And what was great with Wyatt Earp III was that he could tell me stories that had been handed down that could give me a sense of what he sounded like and the cadence of his voice and the quality of his voice. So he was a great help to me personally on that show. And this is, I mean, for better or for worse, this is who Wyatt Earp really was.
It's probably a strange coincidence that your son is
it just
called
is,
Wyatt.
Yeah, I have a 7-year-old son named Wyatt. So I just has nothing to do with anything. I mean, he was born 7 years ago, and I had no idea I was going to do this.
Now you and the lady in your life, Goldie, and just in case anybody doesn't know, you and Goldie Hawn have been together how long now?
We've been together for 11 years in February.
How did you meet?
We met, the first was at Disney's. It was Goldie's first movie. I was under contract at Disney at the time. It was called The One and Only Genuine Original Family Band, and it was a musical, 1966. And I remember seeing this sort of cute blonde warm-up, you know, and wished I'd had a license so I could drive and ask her out, but I couldn't.
How old were you?
I was 15.
What? But obviously it must...
Well, I thought she was cute, you know. I really
she's
did.
cute.
So time went by, and then later we met on Swing Shift. And it was a movie that we did in 1983 about World War II, sort of Rosie the Riveter story. And we met on that picture and have been together ever since. We're still having a good time.
Is she as scatty as she sometimes?
She's great. I mean, she really is. She's pretty dizzy. But she's pretty smart too.
Oh yeah, well she's producing stuff as well.
Yeah.
What happens? Because we have two movie stars in the family here. Supposing you've been offered a movie in Germany and she's been offered a movie in Hawaii, and of course, how many children are there altogether? Now you have
4 altogether. One of our children lives. My oldest son lives with his mother now in New York. In 11 years so far, we've been able to avoid that, and all I can say is that we've been fortunate, and we've been pretty picky about what we've done, and I've tried to work around Goldie's schedule, and it's easier for me to do that than it is for her to work around mine, because as a man, you receive more screenplays, you read more.
Is that a fact?
Mm-hmm. Just is, yeah. And I don't know, my outlook on the business has been that I think it's been a great provider for the family, and it's provided us with a lot of wonderful things to do. So
you do some wonderful things. You go, I'm told, on cycling holidays together. I mean, do you really put those lycra shorts on and the crop top?
Yeah,
the thought of Goldie turning up at a British pub saying, "I'll have cheese and pickles."
Yeah, and it's fun. We take the kids and go for 10 days at a time.
On your own? There's not a Cadillac behind waiting for her?
No.
What would you do if you got a puncture?
They teach you how to fix it, you know, and I'm pretty good with that.
You do that?
Well, we all learn how to do it. We've gone to, we went to Brittany, and we went to Burgundy on a little wine tasting bicycle trip.
Sounds good.
No, it wasn't bad. And Goldie's been to Germany. Goldie's a pretty serious biker.
Serious biker?
Yeah. Serious biker girl. She's a good athlete, and so we take the family and go.
You're a good athlete. You do all these things, and you do all your own stunts. I know you nearly got set on fire. What movie was that?
Backdraft. Yeah,
and yet you always seem to back off if there's a boudoir scene, a bedroom scene. You seem to.
Well, yeah. I don't know. We all have things that we're good at, and we think that we don't like to show what we're not good. No, I bedroom scenes are tough.
Apparently you're offered the lead in An Officer and a Gentleman, or that could
have... what happened there was I spoke with the director. It was, they wanted me to do that. Taylor Hackford was directing it, and I asked him at one point, I said, how far are you going to go with these sex scenes here, Taylor? And he said, just a little beyond the point of bad taste. And I said, that's a little too far for me. But
you're a sweet old-fashioned boy.
Well, I just do think, as an actor, I really don't like to be caught faking it. So I don't try. And we all know that when there's sex scenes, they're just flat out faking it, and the actor's sitting there, might as well turn to the screen and say, "Yeah, I'm faking it." You know, so I try to turn the scene into something that looks like we're not faking it, and if you're gonna have a sex scene and you're not gonna make love, then you're gonna fake it. So I prefer to either try to find something that is going to be more integral to the screenplay to move the story along. All that is probably just a bunch of talk for being too chicken.
I don't think I've ever asked this to, when we've had a lot of movie stars, I don't think I've ever asked, if Goldie was involved in the scene, or if you were, would either of you go to the set? Could you watch?
Well, we did one together in Swing Shift.
Yeah, but that's different. I mean, if you were in a steamy scene with some gorgeous creature, or vice versa.
I only remember one time. Actually, we don't. I remember one time she was doing a scene with Mel Gibson in Bird on a Wire, and I was off stage watching, and all I could think about was that there was something that didn't look. One of them didn't look very committed, and so I said, "Come here." I said, "You got to tell him to kiss you. I mean, he's not."
You did that?
So I guess that when you're doing that, because it's just acting stuff, I always look at it and say, I look at it with the eye of like a director or an audience, and I say, "Come on, I don't believe that. You got to,
Not convinced.
And so I guess what I'm saying is that when Mel kissed Goldie, I didn't believe it for a second.
You played Elvis in a movie. You got some splendid reviews for that. What about the vocals? Can you sing? Did you sing? Or was you,
No, it was done by a man named Ronnie McDowell. Yeah. As a matter of fact, they say that's one of the great pieces of tape in existence somewhere. I used to say to the mic, to the sound man, you know, kill the mic here because I've got to like make some kind of noise. But I have to do something completely different to make it look right. So he'd always kill the mic, and then I'd do the lip syncing to whatever the song was, whatever I was doing. And they said one day they went to Daly's and he didn't kill the mic. And they said that there I am, you know, as Elvis, you know, just like a scream, you know, it's really bad. And they said it's a great piece of tape that somebody's harboring somewhere. I'd like to see it sometime.
They probably play it at parties.
Yeah.
Could you do the movements?
Well, you know, when I was doing it, it's an interesting thing. People have always, they ask me now, they say, you know, gee, come on, can you do Elvis?
Yeah, come on, can you do Elvis?
Yeah, you can't, you know. Sorry to disappoint. I said, yeah, you got that. Good.
That's about it.
You know, it's funny, when you're going to play a part, you're getting paid to do it, and you suddenly panic, and you say, I've got to get into this and do it, and your brain clicks in, and you go to work. And then the day it's done, it's gone. It's done. It's over. I could no more do that now than, it's like Goldie was saying, she doesn't know how to do The Girl in Laughing anymore. She doesn't even know how to find her voice. It's just
it's right at that time. You
concentrate, you do it, you blast through it, and the minute it's done, boom, it's gone. I mean, for Wyatt Earp, I shaved that mustache off, and I've just gone. He's gone.
33 years. 33 years. All those movies still in demand. How do you keep sane? Through Hollywood being one. Not many people, first of all, last that long in a movie career.
Yeah, it is well in that business.
But you have a good attitude to it. I mean, you don't take it too seriously.
My dad was an actor.
It's a job, isn't it?
Yeah, my dad was an actor. He did. He played the Sheriff Clem on Bonanza for 14 years, and I used to just see my dad go to work and come home. We had things paid for because he was an actor. Seemed like a good job. So I early on wanted to buy some bicycles for my sister and myself, and asked my dad what you could make doing that, and he said, call my agent, see if you can't get a job. And I called his agent. Yeah, I was 9. You know.
Of course.
So I had a paper route, and I said, well, I guess there's got to be a better way than this paper route.
From the paper route to the movies. Are you listening, kids? This is how you do it.
Yeah, and I started. I went on interviews and finally got a job. First day I worked, I had enough money to buy those bicycles, and I called his agent back up, and I said, count me in. This is good.
Well, keep doing it.
I'll try.
Let's hope you never end up delivering the papers again.
Well, you don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, good luck with Tombstone. Kurt Russell.
Thanks a lot.